Hello everybody, I am Ana Paula Alves, I'm a psychologist from Brazil. In this post-presentation, I am talking about eco-anxiety, which is basically a kind of anxiety, which according to the American Association of Psychology, eco-anxiety is the chronic fear of the environmental catastrophe and destruction. So basically it is the fear that people develops about the consequences that the climate change can bring to the environment. There is many kind of consequences that the climate change can bring, such as floods, storms. It also can influence the biodiversity of the planet. And then all this context is making many people very anxious. For example, the prevalence for people who struggles with the symptoms of caused by the climate change is 50% of young people between 16 to 25 years old shows concerned about the climate change consequences. So what does it mean? It means that many people is getting very anxious and concerned about. For example, the most people who tends to suffer with the eco-anxiety is people who depend on the natural resource to survive, people who works in the front line helping people in an environmental catastrophe, activists, scientists, and then workers who depends from the natural resource to survive, for example, fishermen, indigenous people. So all these kind of people is showing concern about the ecological, environmental climate change environment. So also, this kind of anxiety affects many people. So it's very important for therapists to understand more about this kind of anxiety. And then also, it is very important for people to understand it's not considered a mental disorder, but its symptoms can lead for from anxiety, depression, and symptoms of grief. Eco-anxiety is a new phenomenon. It's very important. So many people, they don't know what is eco-anxiety, and then it's not considered a mental disorder, but it can affect many people's mental health. So based in all these things, there is some study, there is not many studies going on about this, but some studies say that cognitive behavior therapy can be used to treat people, to help people with the symptoms of eco-anxiety. So basically, the therapists can use some kind of resource to help people, such as mindfulness can be used, cognitive restructuring can be used also, and then also psychoeducation. It would be very powerful to use to help people. And then also, it's very important for therapists to understand that this is not considered a mental disorder, but to be able to help people who may present this kind of anxiety is very important. Otherwise, the anxiety can get very, very worst. So the therapist can use CBT and help people with this kind of issue. So why did I choose to talk about this situation? Especially in Brazil, where I came from, many people are showing a lot of concern about the climate change consequences. For example, with the rise of the sea level, people are concerned about that. The deforestation in Brazil, in Amazon, and then also many kind of environmental catastrophes which are happening. So in that way, it is very important for therapists to be prepared to speak about this kind of anxiety, to help the people to go through about this kind of anxiety, and above all, to help to build up strategy and to look to this kind of anxiety as a positive things, as a positive way of change and build up positive strategy for the environment. I hope you liked this subject that I talked about. I think this is very important and relevant to talk about it. As I told you before, the world is changing, the climate is changing, and as the climate changes, all the people's mental health will change, and then people will need to be aware, to understand what is eco-anxiety, how can I deal without, and then yes, it's also like I told you, this is not a mental disorder, but it's important to therapists to be, to educate people about this climate change consequences. Thank you very much to
Very informative. It was very informative.
Thank you, darling. Thank you.